today's video we are going to learn about the important chapter, that is cell cycle and cell division. Hello all, welcome back to my channel. So today's video we are going to learn an important chapter, that is cell cycle and cell division. So before proceeding to cell cycle and division, we should know a little about cell. We all know that cell is the fundamental unit of life. Fundamental unit. And when I am saying it, fundamental means that all the living organisms are made up of cell. Although there are some exceptions like viruses, like prions. So because they don't have proper cellular identity, they are not kept in any of the kingdom in the R.H. Whittaker classification. We also have heard a little about cell division, right? Division means to divide. So when a cell, which is also shown in the background here, when a cell is dividing and forming new cells, it is called as cell division. So in this chapter, we will learn that how a cell is dividing itself, because it is not that easy event. Okay, to divide a cell, it need to prepare itself. It need to grow a little so that when it will divide into two other cell, the components will be divided equally, right? So now let's begin. What is cell cycle? Sequence of the event by which cell duplicates its genome, synthesizes other component of the cell and eventually divide into daughter cell. So when a cell wants to divide itself in suppose two daughter cell, it need to duplicate its genome. Duplicates genome. What is the meaning of genome? Genome is sum total of all genes present in a cell. Now, before moving further, I would like to tell you the difference between DNA, chromosome, chromatin, gene. These are some of the common words which are regularly used. So let us first learn this. Let us start with DNA. What is DNA? So DNA is this thread-like structure which is double-stranded and it will contain genetic information and it is our genetic material. Now, when this DNA, this thread-like structure is going to wrap around some proteins. These proteins are called as histone protein. Histone protein. When this DNA will wrap around this histone protein, this structure will called as chromatin. Chromatin. Okay. Now, this chromatin will further wrap up and it will form a shape like X. Then it will be called as chromosome. Chromosome. Okay. The detailed structure we will learn in later classes. For now, is that clear that DNA is thread-like structure? That is our genetic material. When this DNA thread is wrapped around this histone protein, it will be called as chromatin. And when it will further wrap up and form X-shaped structure, it will be called as chromosome. This gene. So in our DNA, suppose I am making it linear, okay? So some of the region will code for protein. Let's say protein 1. And let's say here it is protein 3, okay? And this region is not coding for any protein. This region is also not coding for any protein. So eventually what DNA will do? DNA will make RNA, okay? This is DNA. DNA will make RNA and RNA will make protein. And this protein is responsible for all the character what is present in an organism. DNA is coding for a protein through RNA. So here I am showing that a DNA is coding for suppose this protein 1 and protein 3. So this region of the DNA which is coding for a protein will be called as gene. Now you can differentiate easily between gene, chromosome, chromatin and DNA. Okay. So first point is clear that when we are saying that cell is duplicating its genome means that its genetic material is going to duplicate. Now, why it is duplicating its genome? Let us understand that also. So, when a cell is dividing, it is forming suppose two cells. So, this cell needs to give its genetic material equally in this cell and this cell. Okay. Suppose here is two chromosomes in a cell inside the nucleus, right? So now this cell which is formed after the division of this parent cell, this is daughter cell, this also need to have two chromosomes and this also need to have two chromosomes. So for that, it first need to divide and duplicates this genome. Like for suppose this chromosome duplicates here and this chromosome duplicates here. I will make it with another ring so that it will be easy for us to differentiate. Okay. Suppose I am talking about this chromosome as chromosome 1 and this one is our chromosome 2 in white color. Now because one red and one white chromosome was present in parent cell, it need to be distributed equally in the daughter cell also. So this red chromosome and white chromosome in daughter cell first and daughter cell second. So to divide equally its genome, first it need to duplicate this DNA. Okay. Not only DNA, it need to synthesize other components of the cell. Other component, let's say some other organelles, mitochondria, or if it is a plant cell, then chloroplast or lysosome, or so many organelles are there. It need to synthesize that and some important proteins also. And then it will divide into daughter cell. So all the event which is happening in the cell to divide, that will be called as cell cycle. Okay. I hope everything is clear. If you have anything to say, you can comment down below so that I will get to know that if you people are understanding or not. And it will give a kind of motivation also to make such kind of videos. So do like the video and comment. Now let's move ahead. The cell cycle, which is an event, is divided into two phases. First is interphase and second is M phase. Interphase is the resting phase. Resting phase doesn't mean that cell is not doing anything. Cell will prepare itself. Cell will prepare itself to divide. All the important protein synthesis will be happening here in interphase. Okay. Then cell organelles will also duplicate in this phase. Cell organelle duplication, DNA replication also, DNA and centriole replication also. This is very important organelle. This is very important organelle. We will learn that also. DNA and centriole duplication happening in this resting phase of the cell cycle. M phase, we can say mitotic phase, is the actual phase where cell will divide and it will divide into two daughter cells. Okay. Every time it is not necessary that it will divide into two daughter cells. Later we will learn that cell division is also of two kinds. If it is mitosis, then it will divide into two cells. If it is meiosis, then it will divide into four cells. Okay. So later we will move, then things will get more clear to us. Okay. Now let's move. So this is the paragraph from NCERT, what it has written. Let's see. Are you aware that all organisms, even the largest, start their life from a single cell? Yes. Now, if all the organisms are starting from a single cell, how they are forming a huge animal? Let's say I am trying to make an elephant. So this huge animal, it formed from a single cell, right? So how is that possible that from the single cell, this huge organism is formed? So this is because of cell division, that regularly these cells are dividing and forming the organism. But you know what? All the cells cannot divide. Okay. For examples, some cells in our body, example, neurons, example, neurons or nerve cells. These are permanent cells. They cannot divide. Okay. Some of the cells are stable, example, liver, or we can say kidney, or so these organs are also made up of cells. They can divide, but rarely they will divide. Some of the cells in our body, example, skin, example, the cells of gastrointestinal tract or bone marrow to form red blood cell, example, they can divide regularly. Okay. So cells can divide themselves inside a body, inside an organism, but it is not necessary that all the cells of our body will divide. Okay. Now it is written that growth and reproduction are the characteristic of cells, indeed of all living organisms. Means that if a cell is there, it need to grow, it need to reproduce, and all cell will do like that only. All cells produce dividing into two, with each parental cell giving rise to two daughter cells each time they divide. I already told you that one cell is dividing and it is forming into two new cells, and these new cells are called as daughter cells. Then further these daughter cells will grow and they will also divide, and they will give rise to cell population, right? So suppose this was the cell, this was the parent cell. First it will grow, so this will grow, get mature, get differentiated. Then it will divide into two cells. These cells will further grow and they will also divide. So they will form the colony of cells, the population of cells. And the cells will together form tissues, then they together form organs. And this is how they can either form a structure or they can form an organism. So this hierarchy is very simple, that cells will form, okay, cell or cells will form tissue or tissues. Tissues will form organ will form organ system, and then it will further form organism. Okay. Now let's move ahead. Cell cycle. Let us learn a little more about cell cycle. Cell cycle is very important process in all living organism. During the division of the cell, DNA replication and cell growth also take place. All these processes, that is cell division, DNA replication and cell growth, hence have to take place in coordinated way to ensure correct division and formation of progeny cell contain intact genomes. So what I said, that cells are dividing, they are replicating their genome, they are replicating their organelles and everything. They are doing to divide everything equally into the daughter cell. So whatever steps are there, they need to be done in a coordinated way so that the progeny cells or the daughter cell will get intact genome. Cell cycle, the sequence of the event by which cell duplicates its genome, synthesize the other constituent of the cell, and eventually divide into two daughter cells is termed as cell cycle. So this is a very important definition. Now, although cell grow in terms of cytoplasmic increase is a continuous process, DNA synthesis occur only once, okay, during this specific stage in the cell cycle. It is saying that whenever cell want to divide, first cell need to grow. So that is a continuous process, that cell cytoplasm will increase. But its DNA replication or genomic replication will only occur once, and that too in S phase of cell cycle. We will learn that. Okay. Then the replicated chromosome are distributed in the daughter cell. Already I have told you that. So I hope this is clear to you, right? Let us zoom in and see what a cell cycle look like. Okay, so this diagram is showing a cell cycle and it is indicating the formation of two cells from one cell. So here you can see here is one cell. Okay, and here is something called as G0 phase that I am not explaining now. I will explain it later. This is whole cell cycle which is divided into three phases. First is G1 phase, second is S phase, third is G2 phase. And this G1S, G2 is together called as interphase that I told you in the very first slide. That interphase is the preparatory phase. So this interphase is further divided into three phases called as G1 or gap 1 phase, S phase, synthesis phase, and G2 phase, gap 2 phase. Then it is the second part is M phase. M phase has further divisions. What I am trying to tell you is that the cell cycle is divided into two phases. The first phase is interphase or resting phase, and the second is called as M phase where actual cell division takes place. Now this interphase is further divided into three phases. First is called as gap 1 phase, gap 1 or G1 phase. Second will be called as synthesis phase or S phase, and third is called as gap 2 or G2 phase. Okay. Now this M phase is also further divided into first called as prophase, then metaphase, metaphase, then anaphase, and last is telophase. So once the cell will cover from here to here all the phases, the cell division will be complete. Okay. Now maybe you are finding it a little hard to learn all the name, but trust me, whenever you will understand all this thing that what is happening, then it will be so easy to learn. Okay. And I will make sure that you will learn it easily. Okay. So that was it for today's session. Later we will learn that what is happening in all these phases. I hope that you are able to understand all this concept. So do like the video and comment down, and also don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you.